those matches were not fun for either of us. It was
They sure weren't, were they?
no. That was a dog crap way to end VNL 2023 here in Ottawa. Oh man, that was frustrating in so many different ways.
Woof.
Woof. My name's Everett. This is Rob. We're from Volleyball Source. It's been such a great week.
But vibes are low right
But
now.
vibes are possibly at an all-time low.
Yeah, so today we saw Argentina beat the Netherlands in a very good 5-setter.
That was a good one.
Then we saw my United States lay an egg against Germany.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Germany, my bad.
No, that
against
would have
Brazil.
been worse.
Against
That
Brazil.
was us.
And then Canada laid the aforementioned egg against Germany just now behind us. And so you can already see in the background, the arena here in Ottawa is being taken down. The week is over. We are done. Matches are done. And vibes are not great. I think we should start with Canada. We should start with Canada versus Germany.
Let's go in reverse order here for sure.
We just got done. Everett just got done interviewing some of the Canadian guys, and it was tough.
It was tough in a lot of ways. We started out fantastic. The vibes in the building were great. The crowd was behind, and we were 6 blocks in the first set. We were all over them. We were siding out. We looked good. And
I thought in that first set that it was going to be 3-0.
I thought it was going to be a 3-donger, nice and easy. The beers were flowing. The boys were feeling good. And then in set 2, they bring in Johannes Tila, and he just torched us. We went from being all over them on the block to getting torched 1-0 multiple times. And all of a sudden, it was just like the entire team deflated. Offensively, we cannot score. What are our numbers offensively here?
30% efficiency, and even that I think is inflated by the first set. Like if we could sort this by sets 2 through 4, it would be way, way, way worse.
They're way, way, way worse. It's a little frustrating. Like different year, same result. And we made all these changes and ditched the last guy because we couldn't win, and especially not at home. And it's kind of the same thing over and over again. To me, a part of it's all about what's on the floor, And I think right now that just some like it was a bad week for some of the guys. Like Stephen Marr was the first one to say in his interview that he didn't play well tonight and he didn't play well this week. And, I think I know his game well enough now after knowing him for 14, 15 years to say that absolutely. Same thing with Nick. Nick definitely struggled at times too offensively, only 21% efficiency tonight. I thought that maybe we should have kept Blankenau in after we brought him in the second. I thought he brought in good energy. I thought he hustled well on defense. I thought he was serving decently, and his setting was good for a while there.
And I agreed with you initially, but then in the fourth set, there were some unforgivably badly set balls.
Yeah, it
by
was
Jay Blankenau.
It was just bad. It was just bad all around.
Poorly located balls in key transition situations, low and inside to Nick Hogue twice in a row that he got stuffed by Tobias Crick of all people.
Oh man, don't even get me started on Crick. Crick and the other middles ate us alive in the middle. They ate us absolutely alive in the middle.
9 for 10 with 4 blocks went Crick.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna this is the worst thing to happen because now that's just gonna fuel Crick's TikTok game for the next year, and it's just gonna be Crick torching Canada on TikTok for the next year. That's the worst outcome of all of this, in my opinion. But I have so many mental images, and just I need to. I kind of deleted them because I was just getting frustrated, but I wish maybe I'll take them out of my delete folder. But look through the amount of times that the middle is contacting the ball and our middles are still sitting there just looking up on them. Why did let's change to a commit block. Let's change something else.
Got to start committing at a certain point.
It was just frustrating to see. Arthur would have liked to see him maybe a little bit earlier come in and change it up. He came in there in the fourth, and it seemed like it changed the energy around. We had a lead at the beginning of the third. We had a lead at the beginning of the fourth, and we pissed both of them.
Big lead in the third.
Yeah, we pissed
14-9, 15-11.
Yeah, we pissed both of them away, and just we couldn't side out. We started getting tentative. There's a lot of things there that definitely need to be better. Bright spots, I think Landon Curry was fantastic for us. He made some amazing digs. His passing was solid all the way through.
Reception was not the problem.
Reception was not the problem, which is generally the problem with us. Right?
And that's what's was weird about this. And all the guys just now were saying that. Coach Samelvuo, who actually gave us an interview, which was a pleasant surprise, Mar, Hogue were saying, we just can't score. Yeah. We just cannot score. And there's all this bad off-speed stuff happening that was in line with some of my complaints about Team Canada last year, is that they were just not hitting the ball. They were not attacking the ball. And there's clearly everything's new. The setter position is quite uncertain. Luke Kerr and Jay Blankenhouse set significantly different balls.
Yeah.
And neither of them were the correct combination of placement, speed, and all that tonight.
Yeah, but also like we're just not taking good clips at the ball too.
No,
a lot of shots to 6. Mar said it himself. He doesn't even know how many shots he made down the line, if any. Right? There's just no variety there. And especially in the middle, like we're not running different things in the middle. Like we're just running a straight up 50. Like we're not trying to push them. We're not trying to run them on the 31 and get them to bite on that and open some things up for the pipe. Like it just seemed like it almost seems like our offense got worse as the week went on. And it was really good against Brazil last week. And obviously it's an exhibition, but still. And then pretty good against Cuba. And then it's just been, it's almost gone downhill since then.
I think that it's scouting. I think that the more these teams play, the more data they have on one another and the more they're able to prepare. And I think that there's a point in the chat right now that says that Germany covered and dug a lot of balls. Yes.
Because we hit them right at them.
You hit them right at them. Exactly.
Right? Like
Canada's offense was so predictable. The more matches Canada played, the more predictable their offense became.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, again, big picture, brand new coach, brand new setter, brand new libero, who I agree was not the problem. I thought he was terrific. There's so much new to Team Canada right now.
Yep.
And they're just behind in their timeline compared to a lot of the other teams.
Yeah, but this needed to be one that we took.
I agree.
Right?
I'm not excusing it. This had to be a win.
I think that at the end, and I've unfortunately already heard people like rumblings of like relegation, just from like different people here.
The R word.
Like I mean, yeah, it has to be on the mind of everyone right now. And I mean, I guess there is the reality that a relegation isn't necessarily a full-on relegation because you do get to go play in the Challenger Cup. Like it's not like old school where you got knocked out, you didn't have that chance to redeem yourself. Like so, there's that last chance. But still, I don't even want to go there. I do have hope though that things are going to get better.
I agree.
I do have hope, though, that things are going to get better. The problem is that I also had hope that things were going to get better last year.
I think it's different than that because last year there was they broke everything down last year to such a minimal level and were trying to build it from nothing, and they were never going to be able to do that in time to have success.
Yeah, but that's a hindsight 2020 thing, thing because last year we were also feeling good about the Maple Volleys after the last game. You know, like they finally beat Bulgaria. They were 1-3, which is the same as this, and everyone was kind of saying the same things. You know, like things are coming. We're working through things, and you know, we know that we're gonna have a week off to train, and then we're gonna be able to come back together for the next week. So it to me, it's very much echoing what was happening last year, and that's the only thing to say in that scenario. But it doesn't necessarily make me feel any, you know,
right.
So that's where I think that is too, because ultimately, there's plenty of things that are changing right now. Like we don't exactly know like the minutia of it all, but there's plenty of things that are changing from last year's stuff to now. So, but it also just to me it seems like the execution on the court isn't necessarily what is what to be expected. You know, even comments from Mar in our interview that, you know, that he was saying that I'm getting good advice from people. I just need to learn to take it.
Yep.
And that is where I think, you know, I think there also just might be a bit of exhaustion on this squad when you look at some of the veterans, and this is the 4th coach in 6 years, right? So what play style do you revert to? What do you go back to? What's and everyone seems to be on a different page with all of that.
Well, it's the one that where Samelvuo's goal right now is to get the best all-around volleyball player out of each of his guys, and I think he is the guy to do that. But there is a point in the chat that I completely agree with. When you keep preaching simple volleyball, it's going to be adjusted to.
100%.
And I think that's a very good point, and honestly a pretty good summary. And another thing that we said last year is last year's team, like that Benjo system, there was a level of execution required in that style to have any remote amount of success, and Canada never got there.
No.
There's an execution level required to play volleyball ever because it's a very hard, very technical game.
And we're struggling with that right now,
But
I think.
that is the part that I think can be fixed. It's simple stuff that they're not doing very well. Its out-of-system setting has been bad. Everybody giving high balls to the outsides, they've all been far too tight, extremely inconsistent. The choices the attackers have been making have not been good.
This is kind of what I mean, that I know that like when Antigua was around, that was the play in out of system. Like our goal in out of system was to put it tight so that we could recycle, so we could play it off hand, so we could chip it off, right?
Not any recycling being done.
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
that's exactly what I'm saying, is that it just seems to be like a Frankenstein of disjointed different systems and play styles that just aren't like when we're together and we're moving forward in one cohesive unit. But anything happens, it kind of all unravels so quickly. Like it's very loosely tied together.
It is.
And then the sticks are going every which way.
Van Berkel did just tell us that Canada needs to find their identity a little bit, and I agree. I think you can kind of place a general identity on a decent number of these teams, even this early, and Canada's not one of them. I'm not sure what their identity is yet. And another thing that Stephen Marr told us just now, all these interviews will be up later tonight. Marr said that like the playing 3 matches in 3 nights is hard. Obviously, there's fatigue,
but everyone's doing it.
Exactly, that's what Marr said. He said, we can't use that as a crutch because Germany just played 3 games in 3 days.
Yeah.
Everybody just had long club seasons. Like, we cannot use that as an excuse, and I agree with him there. And I'm glad that Canada's not making excuses. They're too smart of a team to make any dumb excuses.
They're not pulling any punches right now. That's for sure.
They know that they didn't have a good week, and they know that there's nobody to blame for that than themselves.
I wouldn't necessarily say they didn't have a good week. I think that
they didn't have a good week.
Because they won the first game. And then they had learning moments in the second two. No. I'm going to be the judge of this, right? I'm going to say they won the first game, right? They had learning moments in the next 2 where we were positive. We had one terrible game.
This was a bad game.
And this, right? So it doesn't go across the entire week. Right, like there's like the vibes were high on Tuesday night when we beat Cuba, which was massive. Vibes were still high after we lost to Argentina because we were there for the majority there. Right, even last night against the U.S. we ran with them for 2 sets, and Samuel Vuo said himself, maybe I should have changed the lineup a little bit because we looked tired today in this match. Right, so I definitely don't think it's gonna be that it was a bad week, but definitely this was the defining moment. And before the game, the guys were telling me that coach was saying, like, this is your finals. This is the penultimate. Like, if we were to play a regular tournament, Sundays would be the finals. This is your final game right now, and this is the way we need to treat it. Right? Because if the R word does end up happening, we're going to be looking back at this game because this is one of the games that was on the table and needed to be won. And it didn't happen. And you know what? I'm sure that there's some things that Samuel Vuo is going to take from this week within himself and I'm going to do better with this in the next week. Maybe it's pulling the trigger earlier on some substitutions. Maybe it's a quicker timeout. Maybe we're going to see some different looks offensively, but he's still getting to know the team, right? It's a lot different than last year when Benjo's coming in, who's seen all of these guys come through the system, who's watched Canadian volleyball. How much?
Samovo has probably never set foot on Canadian soil until 2 weeks ago.
No, he has because he played here before with Finland.
Oh, like yeah.
Yeah. So but other than that, like I doubt he's ever been like, Canada's playing Iran tonight. I'm gonna watch that.
Not a chance.
Like, not in the slightest, right? So there's a lot of things there, but it hurts the way this finished. It really does.
I want to talk about Germany for a quick second before I move on. Johannes Thiele was the X factor.
Oh, dude, it's so smooth.
Absolutely the X factor.
It was the first time we really got to see him.
He led Germany in serving attempts. And he didn't even start the match. He was by far their best server. He completely changed their offensive dynamic. He was the reason why their middles feasted on you guys, and what made 0 mental mistakes that I saw. 0.
None.
And I was really impressed. I thought he had an outstanding club season in Berlin. I know he's been chomping at the bit to get some more looks with the German national team. I remember there was a match here last year when he came off the bench and helped. They went on a service run, helped them beat somebody. I can't remember who. Maybe Serbia.
Maybe us.
No,
We lose a lot, so
I think you guys got 3 dunked, if I remember correctly.
I think we won 1.
I don't remember. Anyway, like Tila, even last year when I talked to him, was like clearly waiting for his opportunity, like waiting to get the keys to the German car, and tonight he got them, and I think there's a chance he keeps them.
I would hope so. I really like Tila. He's as cool as a cucumber in there, man. His hands are so nice. They're
really
so
fast.
They're so quick. He's a little undersized, but still, like, I think he's a really, really good look. When you look at that German setting situation, you're in a really good spot with Kampa and Tila and Zimmerman as well, too.
Agreed.
Like, you've got 3 quality guys who could come in, and it's funny because they're 3 guys who aren't necessarily getting looks from big time. Like Zimmerman was an afterthought. He was supposed to be on the relegated club in Poland until Kachopa got injured.
Right.
And then they picked him up from Monza, and he had a great season. So I think Germany in general is in a pretty good spot. But I absolutely agree. Tila is a baller, and I love to watch him play.
I also think Jan Buma won me over tonight, the lefty. He came off the bench and was outstanding. What is it, 19 for 31, 48% efficiency. He was really good, and he wasn't the erratic kind of error-prone guy that I may have thought he was. So I'll own that one. Jan Buma, you have won me over.
Yeah,
you played really well.
I definitely thought, especially your comparison with him to Massimo Jai, I was like, I don't know, girl. I don't really agree with that.
I was wrong about that take, and I admit that now.
Nice. I respect that.
He was good tonight.
I respect that about you. All right.
Last but not least, you can't be out here getting beat like that by Tobias Crick.
No, I've already covered it. I don't want to talk about it again. 4 for 10.
Up one more time. 9 for 10, 2 blocks.
We don't. I'm mad. Yeah, it was bad.
No more needs to be said.
It was bad. All right, let's move on to your United States of America. No longer unbeaten, losing 3-1 to Brazil. It was a bit of a tough one though. You kind of emptied the bench for it. Here's before we even get into it, here's my big brain thought, because John Spraw's a big brain man. He doesn't want teams to get proper film on USA yet, because so far you've played 3-3 dongs where you haven't been pushed and no one's come close to touching you.
Correct.
How useful is any of that footage?
Probably not very.
Right? How useful is the footage today with Jake Haynes and Garrett and Kessel?
Not at all.
And Ma'a? Right?
Not useful at all.
I don't think he gives a shit about this match in particular. I think it's tough to beat a team twice in one competition, and USA and Brazil always end up in that final round, in the semifinals, in the finals, in that general area, and he's playing the long game on this.
That is a reach, but it is. I will allow that to be used as a silver lining for today.
Mm-hmm.
So the United States lost 3-1 to Brazil. We started Micah Ma'a, we started Jake Haynes, we started the other platoon shift of middles in Averill and Holt like we expected, but we also started DeFalco and Russell for the second consecutive day, and that I was surprised by, because they both just played last night. They had both, like, DeFalco played all 4 games this week, and Russell started 3. Like that's a lot of ball for those 2 guys, and I don't need to repeat what John Speraw said, because I think that the 2 main takeaways I have from this game are John Speraw and I got into kind of why he felt like he had to play the lineup that he did, and we got into the bullshit surrounding that Jake Haynes should have been ace in the 3rd set, which was absolutely inbounds. And the officials even admitted after the game that they made a mistake and the ball was in fact inbounds and that we got screwed. So I don't need to cover those things. I really encourage you to watch the interview with John Speraw, because of how, I mean, he was spicy. He was
a little heated. We waited for him for a long time,
and it was worth it.
And apparently, one of the FIVB people basically told him, like, "Oh, well, it's just 1 point. That's not why you lost." Which is the dumbest
worst thing. The
worst thing that you could say. Absolutely the worst.
Worst thing you could say.
So, and it's like one of the high up people too. Like, it's not just some random person.
Yep,
so
can't say that.
Yeah, you definitely can't say that. He was heated, but luckily he came in ready to go.
And he was so open and didn't hold anything back, and I really appreciated that. I thought it was an outstanding interview. So go hear from him.
What I would give to have an English speaking coach right now.
He one of the things that he said is that he feels so much pressure from the way that the world ranking system is, that he feels like his hand is being forced into making decisions that are bad for his team, because he will either play a lineup that will lose for example, today, or he will play a lineup that can beat Brazil that will not be in the long-term interest of his athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's right about that.
I think he did a bit of both today, unfortunately.
I kind of agree. And he even said that it was a decision, like a tricky decision to start DeFalco and Russell. And obviously, in hindsight, he regrets doing that because Garrett Mongatutia and Cody Kessel came in. Garrett was his usual invisible self, but Cody Kessel was terrific. He was really good.
Cody Kessel was the best American player today by far.
By far.
He had so many good clips. I was talking to him after the game, and I was like, bro, good. We got some good clips of you. We're gonna be posting those.
Yes, we did.
But he came in, and honestly, I thought he gave USA a chance. I really did.
And we almost came back and won that fourth set somehow, like even with starting Garrett and Cody on the left, and I was impressed with how those guys played. Micah Ma'a did not have the best game.
No.
And it wasn't entirely his fault, just the connections between him and the middles and him and DeFalco.
His everything else was good.
Yeah, his setting
wasn't great. His decision making wasn't great. His connection wasn't great, but his serving was good. He had 4 or 5 points offensively
and a couple balls.
And he blocked a couple balls, and he made a bunch of digs as well too.
Oh, like how good of a defender is that guy?
He's such a valuable volleyball player to have on the court in so many different scenarios. And when he's on as a setter, and you can tell he's just missing the connection with the guys. Spending a year outside of the program, he's never really hasn't played much at this level. So I really think that once he finds that connection with the setting, ew.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm okay with him having the long leash that he had today to go out there, figure it out, learn on the fly, even if it happens in a loss. Like, that is okay because you're right. He hasn't set with this team since, 2019. And that is difficult to come back and connect like the way that we've seen Micah Christensen connect the last 3 days. So that's okay. Jake Haynes today, not good at all. 8 for 22. 7 errors, 5% efficiency. He did serve the ball well, and he did get completely screwed out of an ace that was clearly inbounds on a replay that we saw in the house and that Spera and I talked about, so I won't get into it too much more. A couple takeaways. One, I'm not worried.
No.
The way our actual starting lineup played the last couple of days still can and potentially will win this tournament, so I'm not worried about that part of it. Brazil needed this game more than we did, and it showed.
Yes.
After losing to Cuba yesterday.
Yes, emotionally.
And
they were also playing in front of what was basically a home crowd.
It legitimately was.
There was more in here for the people in here for that game. There was a lot less yellow jerseys in this crowd for Canada versus Germany.
People came to Brazil, USA, and then left. They didn't stay for the Canada game. And those people in yellow were louder than any Canadian fan
very,
tonight.
very loud.
And then last but not least, I need Thomas Jeschke. I need him.
Mm-hmm.
I need him back badly. What we heard is that he has just been slow in getting into the gym. Like he was in Turkey, obviously. I'm not exactly sure why Ma'a beat him there by multiple weeks because they were on the same team. But whatever Jeschke's been up to, he's slowly been working his way back into the USA gym, and he needs to speed up because we can't start Russell and DeFalco every game.
No.
And we can't start Garrett or Cody Kessel, unfortunately. I think both of those guys are good in their roles coming off the bench. But we need Thomas Jeschke. We need that legitimate third world-class outside hitter. And when we get him, that's more like when we can manage a roster in a week to take command like this week I may be expected us to. But overall, I'm not particularly worried. I know that our top level is still there, and I really think you guys should go watch that Spera interview. I think that his insight was incredibly valuable into what happened today.
I would agree. We did talk to some of the assistant coaches kind of leading up to the game and talked about what their roster is going to be looking like for week 2, and he said much of the same. Right, it looks like the guys want to play, and I think that's a really good thing. Already 12 comments on that Spera interview, so you know the comments are spicy on that.
Good. We also might get Josh Twininga back. What I heard from the guys is that he actually there was a chance that he could have played this week. And that's really surprising to me. I was not expecting him to recover from elbow surgery that fast, but there's a very legitimate chance that he'll go to the Netherlands next week. And the coaches were telling me that Josh being healthy now is going to make their decision at second setter impossible. That is going to be a very hard choice. And I don't envy them because both Josh and Micah are outstanding volleyball players. Josh is obviously the better pure setter. Micah is clearly the better pure volleyball player. And we'll see what they do with that. But the most important guy on the roster that I want to watch that we didn't see this week is Thomas Jeschke. How soon can we get him back?
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge for you guys if you're looking at that long term of potentially winning VNL and seeing what you can bring to the table. Who do you lose, Garrett or Kessel?
Well, unfortunately, it's probably going to be Kessel, given that we know John Spera's affinity for Garrett Mwangatutia, but I'm not sure that's necessarily the right choice. Every single time that Garrett gets set the ball, I cringe because I know something stupid is coming. I know some horrible offensive choice is coming that even I could do, and that's not good at all.
What you're saying? You're not high class? You're not world class out here?
I'm so bad at hitting on the left side. I'm good in the middle. I'm good on the right. I'm awful on the left, and I can hit better shots than Garrett Mwangatutia.
I think we need to put this to the test.
Too bad they took down the court already.
Yeah, I think we need to put this to the test.
We do got to talk about Brazil a little bit, I think.
Well, first, one last question before we move to Brazil. Right side situation. Is there someone of these three we saw Kyle Ensing the least?
Why? Why
your team.
Why did Jake
I'm
Haynes,
asking you.
Why did Jake Haynes get 2 starts? I still don't really understand that. I think that his leash tonight was far too long. Ensing came in really briefly and wasn't all that good. He made a couple really bad hitting errors. But also, sitting back in the gym is Kyle Russell, who I still don't understand.
Why has he never gotten any type of
Thank
look?
you.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
He really hasn't, and I think he deserves it. I think that second opposite position is a huge question mark right now. I thought it was Ensing's for sure because he brought us all the way to the VNL final last year, and he was on the Olympic team 2 years ago. But until we get Gabi Garcia-Fernandez next year, I have a lot more questions at second opposite than we thought. And Ensing was bad today, but had they started him, had they given him the game, I feel like that might have been different. So I would like to see Kyle Russell. I would like to see Kyle Ensing start a couple games, but it also proves to me how much better we are when Matt Anderson starts and how good and how valuable he is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving over to Brazil. As you said, they needed to win this one.
Yep.
After losing to Cuba last night, they needed to finish off on a win. If they had finished this week 2-2, especially going the distance with Argentina, only getting 2 points in that set.
Someone just said Kyle Russell got married. That makes sense why he would be a little busy right now.
Okay, yeah.
Fair enough.
He's getting busy. All right. Yeah, but Brazil was really good today. They had some really good work from off the bench. I thought Judson was fantastic for them in the middle.
Is 12 for 12? Is that true? That's amazing.
Yeah, he was unreal coming in for Otavio. I think Otavio's been really strong all week. But it was kind of 4 games into it, and Judson came in and was fantastic. Lucarelli was amazing.
Really good.
And then great news for Brazilian fans is that Allen was outstanding today as well. 43% efficiency. He went 15 for 30 with a block and an ace. So Brazil, it looked sketchy at times. Right, it looked sketchy at times. It looked like things were going to be bad, but they ended up really salvaging it and a 3-1 record this week.
Yep, Brazil's going to be just fine. Brazil is Brazil, and like you said, they needed this game more than we did today. I think that you can sum it up just that well. And you also said that it's difficult to beat a team twice in one competition, and if we were to see Brazil in the final, it would be a very different match.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you've seen everything that Brazil has to offer.
We have,
right? Unless they bring Lucas, which absolutely that changes
it's true.
something.
His suspension is now over from giving the finger to somebody last year or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that a next meetup with Brazil, and it's always good to feel like you owe a team one.
I love that,
right?
And
I feel like we've owed Germany one now a few years, but couldn't do it. God damn it.
Last but not least, we got to talk about the 5-setter that started off today. That feels like a million years ago. When Argentina
oh my goodness,
beat the Netherlands 15-10 in the 5th.
The first set, though. That's all. Honestly, that's
36-34.
7 lead changes after 20.
Amazing.
7 lead changes after 20. It was back and forth. Both teams were battling. The Dutch pulled it out. I thought the Dutch were going to win this one, but at the end of the day, Argentina is just so skilled. Then this is a really good team. If anyone's questioning Argentina right now, you shouldn't, especially when Pablo Kortsev, 62% efficiency. He went 24 for 37.
Fuego.
Oh, it's a fuego. So the fact that they have two right sides that can put the ball away like that is incredible. Like, he just went toe-to-toe with one of the best right sides in the world and won.
And outscored him.
And like, Bruno Lienema wasn't anywhere to be seen. I know he came off the bench. Oh, he actually started the match.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He actually started the match.
We got here like 10 points into the first set, and Kukartsev was already in.
Wow. Okay, we thought he would have started, but wow, that's massive.
Namir 16 for 41, 11 errors. Kukartsev, what is this? 24 for 37, 1 error total. That's a masterclass.
That's phenomenal.
Incredible.
That's phenomenal. And you know why? Luciano De Cecco.
We've been having people argue about the pronunciation of Luciano this week, and I asked Luciano Vicentin. He said that technically it's Luciano in Spanish, but he prefers Luciano because it sounds cool, and I agree. So that's what we're gonna go with. Also, like De Cecco. De Cecco is the most Italian name of all time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pronounce it Luciano.
Luciano. It's always. I mean, for De Cecco, it's always been Luciano De Cecco.
Of course.
Right, and that's what Clayton Lucas has been saying for years. So we're just going to run with that. But this Argentina team is really good.
They're really good.
They're really good. They've got some options. Like, this is a team that knows themselves well, right? Vicentin and Polonsky is a really good duo on the outside.
With
and
Martinez first off the bench.
With Martinez first off the bench to come bring some stability into the serve receive is really good. Oh, he passed like crap today. on 9 attempts, only 22% positive, 0% perfect. So
not great.
That's not great. But I think anytime you have Luciano De Cecco leading your team, you have a chance. And the way this team is so skilled, you have to be really good to put them in under any pressure. Danani is fantastic. He's really good. He's a little firecracker for them. I feel like he's the type of fight that would get into a fist fight on the court. And
he is a fireball.
Like, if there was fighting in between did you ever play that PS2 volleyball game, beach volleyball games, and instead of serving, you could choose to fight?
No. That sounds amazing.
It was absolutely fantastic. It was like classic. Like, all the girls just had like big fake tits and like wearing thongs and stuff like that. Like, it was
all right over there.
It was classic. But I feel like Danani is a guy who would go over and fight and then walk back and have like a bloody nose and a black eye and just like wipe his nose and be like, okay, serve the ball, and then and jump into serve receive. So I really like that. Write that from him. But this Argentinian team is good.
They're good.
Right?
They're really good. Yeah, they could, if they got the right draw, they got the right seed, they could medal in this tournament. It's possible.
Yeah.
I didn't think initially coming in. I thought the medal, like the only medal contenders were the usual suspects: Italy, Poland, France, us, and Brazil, maybe. And now I think it's absolutely fair to include Argentina in that conversation.
I would think so too. And I can't really think of any of the teams. Like, I don't think Serbia has what Argentina has right now. I don't
even
think
Japan,
Iran,
who's the only undefeated team in the tournament, I don't think they have it either.
I guess we'll see what's Japan. Like, Japan is one of the teams that I'm most interested to watch in week 2.
Yeah, me too.
And luckily week 2 is solely in Europe, so we're gonna have a lot to watch at the beginning of the day, which is awesome.
Last but not least, before we talk about the Japan games overnight, we should talk about the Netherlands a little bit. Honestly, I like this team. I like them a little more than I thought I would. Namir obviously is the man, and even though he wasn't that good tonight, Benny Tweenstra took his turn to step up. And they have had sort of a different guy every day at some other position that stepped up and been really good.
Yeah.
The other day was Van Garderen after when you interviewed him, and then today it happened to be Tweenstra. 18 for 30. 40% efficiency. And I think Andringa is a good libero. I really like Twan Wiltenberg as a promising young middle. He stuffed the crap out of some people.
Yeah, he's big. 4 blocks today.
Van Garderen was fine. I thought he played his role, and today was Benny Tweenstra's turn to be good. And if the Netherlands can keep pulling off that particular strategy, where it's one other guy plus Namir who's good, they could make the playoffs again. And it's fair to remind people that they did make the playoffs last year.
Not only like make the playoffs, but I think that this is a team that and a collection that's really starting to believe in themselves.
Agreed.
Right, and when you look at this roster and that they have a few different looks too. And then you still got like guys like when I talked to Van Garderen, he's like, Thijs ter Horst and Woezert ter Maat are still ready to join this team in Rotterdam next week. So those are 2 high level guys.
Sure.
Like you plug in Thijs ter Horst on the left side, and like that's a dude who can do some things. And you go to Woezert ter Maat, and you've got a guy who's just as terminal than as Namir, right? So I think this Dutch team to me is much more of a contender, and just makes the relegation race that much spicier, because this is this team is better than just Namir and everyone else.
I agree.
right?
I agree. And I think it's our second year in a row of saying that. We're at the World Championship last year. They won their pool, and they were better than just Namir and some other randoms. They were better than that. Question, what happened to Stein von Tilburg? He hurt his ankle on, I think, either Sunday or Monday once they got to Ottawa. So he'll be out for a bit. But not like he's not an integral part of the team. It's Namir and Termat. It's 3, maybe even 4 outside hitters if they get Ter Horst back in the mix. I'd say there's really only 2 middles that I've seen. And then they've got at least 2 setters, maybe even 3, and they've got a pretty good libero. So I think the Netherlands are going to be just fine. 2-2 this week is decent, bordering on good for them. The way that they played, they were never going to beat the USA in that matchup. But everything else, I thought they were fine.
Yeah, fine and above average.
Above average.
I think so too. I think they're going to give some teams some trouble, and I think they have the ability to push the better teams. And I'm going to put Argentina into that group right now.
And they did push Argentina today.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as this team grows to have a little bit more confidence that things are going to go well for them. I also think that Robert Piazza is a G, and he can no longer be King Stooge. Because we're homies now.
Yeah, no, he's long since passed off the King Stooge title. Congratulations to him. Vives. Thanks for participating.
Yeah. Gracias por participar.
Grab yourself a cookie on the way out. And now I think the contenders are Bernardi.
Oh, absolutely, Bernardi.
And Stoichev.
Oh, Stoogechev. Let's go. Absolutely. I mean, we'll see if he ever gets a job again. Probably will.
Let's talk about the Japanese games overnight.
Just quickly.
Okay.
I need food.
Oh, we're going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do that.
And we're going to get
Slovenia
to that
3-donged Iran.
Massive.
That was a pleasant surprise on their part on 19-23-23. The Rock, 20 for 33, 52% efficiency. That's my boy. Love him. Iran.
No, that's my boy. I picked him for my team.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I thought.
Iran, revolving door of lineups. I still don't know that much about this team. There's still brand new faces that I know nothing about, and I'm going to reserve judgment on Iran until we can actually watch them legitimately for a week, which this week we did not. So I don't even have that much to say about them. Serbia 3-donged Poland. Now, we should spend some time on this. Because Poland, and it wasn't close, 21-19-14. Like, that was bad. And maybe we shouldn't have as much faith in the Polish B team as we had coming into this week because they were bad. Like, just not good at all. Chalpuk finally had a bad game. Dulski got the start at opposite. He was bad. Biniak was good like usual. Semeniuk was average.
Serbia was clipping on offense.
Apparently.
49% efficiency, 57% hitting. They only made 6 errors, 3 and 4 of those were blocks.
Spicy.
Like
6 aces, 9 service errors.
Yeah, Luberic was fantastic, 18 for 30. Kujundžić was
even
unreal, 12 for 17 with lights out passing numbers. Miran Kujundžić. And wow, this just gets better and better. Krismanovic with 3 blocks in there, going 4 for 7. Like, it looks like Serbia was rolling. And Serbia is one of those teams too. Nedeljkovic 4 blocks as well, fantastic, 4 for 5 offensively. Serbia is one of those emotional teams.
Oh yeah,
you get them going. That's like mob energy, you know. It's mob energy for sure. We've seen them enough over the past few years here in Ottawa.
Oh yeah,
we absolutely know. You get Serbia, you get them going about something.
They'll drag you outside.
Absolutely, they'll go steal your catalytic converter off of your car and sell it in Asia. But yeah, I think that's kind of what happened here. That Serbia just decided to come out and ball.
And I did hear that Nikola Grbic, the Polish coach, was a little bit animated, shall we say, to the media, and maybe said some things about his own players that many coaches wouldn't say.
Oh shit! Like what?
Yeah, he was talking a little bit of trash about his own players' inability to do some stuff. I need to go back and have one of our Polish friends in the Discord help us to translate it before I make any more comments about it. But that is what Polish media was talking about today.
Ooh, spicy.
Only Karol Kłos was their only double-digit scorer.
Yeah,
unacceptable.
7 for 9, 3 blocks. Yeah, that's bad. And it looks like they used everyone. The only person they didn't use is Pareba. Everyone else got subbed in. Yeah, everyone else got subbed in and got some looks.
Ooh, Woolmach started. Maybe that's your problem.
Maybe that is your problem. I'm wondering, really wondering, if we're seeing Kamil Semeniuk in a not even in a starting role, but in like an A lineup role whatsoever.
God, can you
Like,
imagine
after
saying that a year ago?
Oh my goodness, I know.
Crazy. Last but not least, Japan beat France 3-1 to be the only undefeated team in the tournament after week 1, which is very interesting.
A real quick lowdown on the standings goes Japan, USA, Argentina, Slovenia, crazy, Brazil, Poland, Netherlands, Serbia, Italy, Bulgaria, Iran, France, Cuba, Germany, Canada, and China. Thank God for China. Thank God for China.
And you're tied with them in in literally every metric.
Every metric, yeah.
So Japan is the only undefeated team. We have no winless teams. Canada, China, and Germany, Cuba, France, Iran, Bulgaria all have 1 win. Italy, Serbia, Netherlands have 2 wins. Poland, Brazil, Slovenia, Argentina, United States have 3 wins, and Japan is undefeated. It is ridiculous that Slovenia is 3-1 and lost to Bulgaria and got 3-donged. The lowdown after week 1 in VNL
is nothing makes sense.
Parity.
Nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense.
We're living in the upside down. That's what all the smoke was earlier this week. It wasn't from me. You like that one?
I like that one. That was a good one. This is the most chaotic. This is going to be the most chaotic VNL maybe ever.
I mean, there's only been five of them. This is number 6, so. I mean, I'm just saying, there's not that much history, but you're not wrong. I don't. All I know right now is that I'm frustrated, and that us being, even if we had 1 in 5, and us being 2-1 right, or 2-2 right now, up there with the other guys with Italy, Serbia, and Netherlands, I'd feel much better. But just looking at us and where we are in the standings right now, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Yep, relegation very much on the table for every challenger team, I'd say, except for Slovenia and the Netherlands. I think that they're right. Not only did they win a couple games, but I also think that they're good enough.
They look good.
And they look good.
They look good.
It's going to come down to China, Canada, Cuba, and Bulgaria.
Yeah. I overall I have belief in our program, and I have belief in our team. It just would have been a little bit better to see it here this first week, but I'm also choosing to have belief because the reality is, if this year doesn't work, we're fucked.
That's true.
Like in a royally, like a lot of ways. Like if Canada drops out of Nations League, that's funding that's gone, and the reality is Samuel Vuo's gone, and we don't. I don't know how many more friends Glenn Hogue can call up, and we already ostracized the best coach in the country. So
I agree with you. It's not pleasant, but there's still 8 matches for each team to be played. There's still a lot of volleyball left. There's still a lot to be figured out because, like Italy, France, and Poland should be medal contenders, and all of them looked mediocre at best this week. Italy honestly looked the best of the 3. France and Poland's B teams were bad. Both of them were just not good at all. So that's going to throw a wrench into everything. Japan going 4-0, I think, is an outlier. They had a much easier schedule. They got really lucky playing at home and playing good teams who are normally good but brought their B teams this week. So Japan got an all-time great draw. Are they a medal contender? No.
Why not?
Because they still can't beat teams that are legitimately better than them. And there are at least 5 teams out there that are legitimately better than them. And once they do that, then we might be able to have that conversation. But until Japan beats Italy, France, Poland, the United States, or maybe Brazil, when they're full strength, until they beat one of those teams, I will never consider them a medal contender.
Well, Canada is going to have to face them first off next week, first thing in Orléans. That will be going on at 7 a.m. So Canada for next week has got France, Slovenia, Bulgaria. Japan, Slovenia, Bulgaria, and then France at home. One of those is an absolute must-win. One of those is an absolute must-win for Canada.
It's Bulgaria.
And it's Bulgaria.
Of course.
Right? We'll have to see what happens against France or Japan and Slovenia, but ultimately, if we can't beat Bulgaria, then we're in a bad spot.
Yeah, and I think that Samovo learned that, like he was telling us, maybe he should have put some younger, less experienced guys in against the United States to save his best lineup for a must-win game.
Yeah.
I think that that is something that will be applied next week.
But it's tough, though, because, mate, do you not start the guys against Japan? Or do you not start them the night before against Slovenia?
I think probably you punt the Slovenia game.
Right, but Slovenia is a more winnable game than Japan.
Yes, it is. You got to play the starters against Bulgaria. Do not play the starters against France.
No.
There is no point. You are not beating them in Orléans with their starters. No chance.
Let's let Melser go out in there and have a good time.
Sure.
Brody and Melser, absolutely.
Yep. Get Luke some confidence. Get Schnitzer some confidence. Roll out the B team against France. Must win against Bulgaria without question. The United States' schedule is similarly difficult. I know we've got Iran. I know we've got Poland. We do have China, which is a free win. Let's see. We're going to be in Rotterdam. Yeah. Okay. We've got Serbia first, and that actually could be a little bit interesting. Serbia, China, easy win there. Iran and Poland. So let's let the people know what they can expect from us, because
do we even know what they can expect from us?
I'm not totally sure, which is why I think we need to set the expectation. First of all, there will be no normal 9x9 on Tuesday night.
No.
We are going to take some much needed time off. Tomorrow is a travel day. We're going to just live non-volleyball lives for 24 hours maybe on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then
on Monday, we are driving, because I'm driving Rob to the airport, so we might go live just for shits and gigs.
We might go live for the car ride from Ottawa to Toronto tomorrow.
So we'll see.
But we're going to do a show either Wednesday or Thursday to talk about women's VNL. And can we all agree that if Japan beats Canada, Everett will do a TikTok dance? No, because Japan's going to be favored. It would be funny
to see. If USA beats Japan in the week after.
We beat Japan?
Rob has to do a TikTok dance.
You mean if we lose to Japan?
No, if you beat Japan.
Oh, of course we're going to beat Japan. We always beat Japan. We always beat Japan. Not concerned about that at all. So we're no normal 9x9 on Tuesday.
Nothing.
We will do a 9x9 on either Wednesday or Thursday. Not sure which yet, to talk about women's VNL.
Yes.
And then we're gonna figure out kind of what the cadence is going to be the rest of the summer, because we might do twice a week. We might stick with once a week.
For VNL, I almost like twice a week.
I do too.
Like one at the beginning and then one.
I kind of like Monday and Thursday, but we're just going to have to see if that works out for our real life schedules, because once we're no longer in the building, everything that we're.
It might have to be during the day.
Yeah, we'll see.
And involve the European crowd a little bit more on for the live stream, just because I potentially work at night.
Right.
And I play dodgeball on Monday nights too, so that's really serious stuff that I need to train and properly have proper nutrition for and warm up properly.
Well, speaking of proper nutrition, we've got a lot to go do tonight before we actually
drinking whiskey isn't proper nutrition, Rob.
Yes, it is. When in Rome, when in Canada, you drink alcoholic maple syrup.
Make maple whiskey.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. We love you guys. We love your support
so much.
This has been an unbelievably successful week for Volleyball Source.
It just sucks that it had to end this way.
Yeah. Yes, we're going to do a draft video for the women. We might include a special guest on that.
We might have a special guest. I hope we do.
We already filmed the all 2010s decade draft, which we'll make public some point in the next couple weeks for the men. This has been an amazing week for us.
It really has.
I think that
on a lot of different levels. First and foremost, like content wise and reception from you guys, it's been awesome. Looking at compared to what we were last year, this is blown out of the water. So we really appreciate all those who tune in on the regular. Like, why you listen to us two stooges talk about volleyball, I have no idea. Actually, I do know, because there's no other option. So you're stuck with us.
That's
Sorry.
Right.
But we really appreciate all the support. We really do. It's been awesome to see all the comments and all of the love. And then for all of those, I mean, you're probably not watching right now, but if you were here and you came up to say hi to us, you took photos with us. First of all, if you took photos with us,
post them,
tag us, please.
Tag the new Volleyball Source 2.0 Instagram account.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like we really appreciate hearing the feedback and hearing that you guys love the show.
And guys like Mark.
Mark sucks.
Mark, we love you, dude.
Always a
week,
pleasure. Mark is the man behind all the great videos that you've been seeing on the Volleyball Canada Instagram account.
Normally of
and
Trinity
such.
Western.
Normally
who
of
do a world-class job with
yes,
media.
Absolutely they do better than the VNL. That's for sure.
100%. So the two things I want to close with, like this, what I really think that what we're doing is what the players and like the quality of the product that we saw this week was terrific.
Volleyball?
Yeah. Other
Or
like
us?
the volleyball. The volleyball. The quality of the volleyball product this week was terrific. It's
Fantastic, yeah.
amazing in person. I do believe that it's the best sports product in the world. And other than the occasionally bad officiating, the consistently bad challenge system, other than those things, which I hope is just a Canada-specific problem this week, the quality of volleyball was really good, and I think the coverage that we've done with like talking so much about all these games is what the games and what the athletes deserve, and I feel good about that. It's also what the volleyball fan 5 years ago that wasn't doing any of this, it's the sort of content that I would have wanted 5 years ago, and so the fact that people do want to hear us talk about this stuff makes me really happy.
Yeah. Also, big shout out to all the players that came and showed some love. Obviously, USA and Canada showing us a lot of love. Canada's like it's an obvious one because it's been happening for years. They know they come to expect it. But seeing the support from the USA guys and having them come up and say that they watch and stuff was really cool.
That's been great.
Piazza, you're now a homie. You've been upgraded from King Stooge to homie because even then we had like a nice little moment too after it all. I kind of wish they would have won just so we could have. I had a dream where like they won and then like he came running up and like jumped into my arms after they won. How awesome! How awesome would that have been? Poro, we're a huge fan of him.
Yeah, I like him.
This is the first time I've ever interviewed a Cuban, and I've watched Cuba live a lot.
Concepcion is the man.
Concepcion is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Ronnie for helping us with all that.
Same with all three Lucianos.
Yeah, Luciano, and Luciano. Thank you.
We might go drink some beers with them tonight.
Yes. And then also finally, once again, thank you to everyone. Really, really much appreciated. It's been a lot of fun and it's not done. I'm excited to like get into like this is fun, but it's a lot.
Oh my God, we're so tired.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm excited to get into a little bit more of a groove of just watching them at home and doing it that way.
Me too.
And just doing our normal shows and talking about it that way because this is a lot to do. It's fantastic to be here and to see everyone in person. And, every time I do this, my knowledge grows just by just a little bit, but I'm excited to do it from in our normal settings.
Agreed. Well, boys and girls, that's it.
Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to Volleyball Source 2.0. And make sure you go check out that volleyball.store. I had someone come up to me like, man, I saw this really sick volleyball T-shirt, and it's like I saw that logo on the store too, and I was like, yeah, that's my store
because it's literally our store.
Go spend money on it, please.
And join the Discord. You should already be in there. We'll see you there, and I think it is time to sign off. Get the hell out of this arena and go drink.
Yeah, let's do it.
Peace.